Let's start working on week 1, homework 1. So, how to differentiate linear from non-linear equation. Let's say we have question number 1. Let's say we have 7x plus 8x is equal 12x. So every single x we have, it has degree 1. Yes? The linear equation identified by the highest degree of the equation. If the highest degree of the equation is 1, that means we are dealing with linear equation. So let me bring another example. If I have negative 0.05x minus 0.08x equal 0.5. As you can see, here also we have highest degree 1. Therefore, we have linear equation degree 1. Unlike these two equations, if I write down now, so let's say 9x squared minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. Although here we have degree 1, this x, but here on this 9x has degree 2. That's mean, because the highest degree is 2, that's mean this is not a linear equation. Actually, this is quadratic equation. Or, if let me write down another example, if I have negative 3x, oops, let me see, I need to use blue color. Negative 3x squared, x cubed minus 2x squared plus x equal 5. So let's see what we have here. Here we have 3, here we have 2, and here we have 1. So the highest degree, because we have the same variable, and the highest degree is 3, therefore this equation is not linear because it's 3, it's not 1, the highest degree. All right? Next. Question number 2. Solving equation. So 2x plus 1 minus 4 times x plus 1 equal 6x plus 2. Okay, first thing what we're gonna do, we are going to distribute negative 4 by x, negative 4 by 1. And we are going to get 2x plus 1 minus 4 times x is going to be negative 4x. Negative 4 times 1 is going to be negative 4. And that is equal 6x plus 2. Combining like terms. And then here 1, negative 4, and 2. So what do we get? We get 2x minus 4x. And this 6x is on the other side of equal sign. So if I bring on this side, all I'm going to do, flip the sign, put the opposite sign. Look, we have 6x positive. Once I move, it's going to become negative 6x. And that is equal 2. So I'm moving 1 is positive, moving on this side, it's going to become negative. 4 is negative, moving on this side, it's going to become positive. So one thing we need to remember, every time when you move when you move any term over equal sign on the other side, then you have to flip the sign on the opposite. If it was positive, it will become negative. If it was negative, it will become positive. That's exactly what we did. Plus 1 was positive, moved on this side, became negative. The negative 4 was negative, moved on this side, became positive. Okay, let's combine 2x minus 4x. It's going to be negative 2x. Negative 2x, negative 6x, it's going to be negative 8x. So this is equal, 2 minus 1 is 1, plus 4 is 5. So we need to divide by negative 8. Divide by negative 8, it's gone. And my x is equal negative 5 over 8. Okay. Next question. Question number 3. What do we have? 1 over 6, 8t minus 5 equal t plus 5 over 12. Okay, let's see how we're going to solve. First of all, let's do some drafting. So 1 over 6 times 8t minus 5. When we have 8t minus 5, which is 1 over 6 times 8t minus 5 over 1. Yes? All right. So here we have two fractions. We are doing multiplication. This is going to be 1 times 8t minus 5. And here is 6 times 1. Obviously, I can clean these ones here. And hence, I can take out these parentheses because there's nothing else in there. And I will have 8t minus 5. So from here, we can conclude. Every time when you multiply a fraction by the whole number, like here, all you do, move this whole number in numerator. That's all. So what do we get here? We are getting 8t minus 5 over 6 is equal t plus 5 over 12. Okay, 6 and 12, what is going to be common denominator? It's going to be 12. By the way, if any of you is having hard time with common denominator, I will put at the end of my video how easily find common denominator. It's not the way you learned, like building the entire tree and then figuring it out. No, it's very easy way. And that one, and then I put also reference to video multiplication of and division of fractions. Or you can find yourself, that's in the playlist Basic Math. Okay? Not Basic Math _K, but Basic Math. Okay, so 6 and 12, common denominator is going to be 12, which means 6 I have to multiply by 2. Here also I have to multiply by 2. So I'm getting here 12 and 12, which means I can drop it. And the result is going to be 2 times 8t minus 5 is equal t plus 5. All right, so let's distribute. 2 distribute by 8, t distribute by 5. And we get 2 times 8t is going to be 16t. 2 times negative 5, it's going to be negative 10. And it's equal t plus 5. Okay, so combining like terms, 16t minus 10. See, we are moving on this side of equal sign, t positive, moving here, become negative. And it's equal 5. Now I'm going to move negative 10. So it was negative, will become positive. Yes? Okay. Let me do this way. All right. So we are getting 16t minus t, it's going to be 15t. and equal 5 plus 10 is 15. All right, so we are dividing by 15. Accordingly, dividing by 15, it's gone, and 10 is equal 1. Okay. So, move a little bit further. Well, okay. Moving question number 4. Zero 0.7x minus 0.5 equal 0.6x plus 6. All right, so let's see how we're gonna solve. Combining like terms, right? So it's gonna be 0.7x. Moving 0.6x on the other side, gonna be negative because it was positive, equals 6. Negative, we have negative 0.5, then once I move, it's gonna be positive 0.5. Okay, 0.7 minus 0.6 is gonna be 0.1, and it's equals 6.5. 6 plus 0.5, 6.5. Okay, sorry, here I missed x. All right, so we divide by 0.1 here, and we divide by 0.1 here. This is gone. And to divide x, 6.5 divided by 0.5, we cannot afford to have in denominator or second number we divide by, we cannot have as a fraction. Therefore, all we have to do, we are going to move this decimal point by 1 position, which means multiplication by 10. And accordingly here also numerator moving by 1 position, and we get 65 over 1. So x will be equal 65. Okay. Question number 5. What do we have? Negative 144. All right. So here we are dealing with complex numbers. So negative 144. So we are going to break square root of negative 1 times square root of 144. Square root of negative 1 is equal I. So for complex numbers, square root of negative 1 is equal I. And negative, if we raise to power 2, both of them, what do we get? We will get negative 1 is equal I squared. Okay, so first formula that is crucially important we need to know, negative 1 is equal I squared, or the opposite, I squared equal negative 1, same thing. And the other one is I is equal accordingly, so if it's I squared negative 1, then I is equal square root of negative 1. Those are the important formulas that we need to know. So, I have negative square root of negative 1. We see here square root of negative 1 is I. Yes? Therefore, we are getting here. Oops. We are getting here. It's equal I. And square root of 144 is 12, which means it's going to be 12I. Okay? Next one, number 6. We have square root of -7. So again, -1 times -7. Times 7. Well, square root of -1, it's going to be I. And since there is no square root for 7, it's going to be I square root 7. That's all. Okay? Next one. Question number 7. So we have square root -60 over square root 12. So how are we going to solve this problem? Very easy. So negative square root -60 is going to be square root -1 times square root 60 and divided by square root 4. I can break down square root 4, square root 12. I can break down square root 12 and square root 3, right? Okay. Now, why did I broke down into 4 and 3? Because I can take square root 4, it's 2. If I would break down, let's say, square root 6 and 2, then I couldn't take anything out, right, of square root. Okay, that's why you are going to break down into terms that you can take some square root. All right, so we have square root of -1 is going to be I. Square root 60, there is, how much is going to be square root of 60? Let me see, it's going to be, well, let me see if it's going to be easier way. I have 2 ways, so let me show you both ways. I can put square root of 4 is 2, and I will have square root 60 here, square root 3, right? Okay, and that will be I over 2, so square root 60 over 3, it's going to be square root 20. So I over 2 and square root 20, right? Which is going to be equal I over 2. 20 I can break down square root 4, square root 5. So square root 4 is 4, square root 4 is 2, which will be I over 2 times 2 times square root of 5. So then square root 2 times 2, let's see, square 2, I over 2 times 2, that means I over 2 times this 2 here. And it's going to be gone, and we will have only I. Yes? Okay. So, which means this is going to be cancelled, this with this. And we are going to have I square root of 5. Let me open here is equal I over 2 times 2. That's where it will go if you multiply. And let me see. And we will get square root of 5. So these 2 and 2 will be gone. And we are going to get I square root of 5. I just rewrote, right? I over 2 times 2. So let me see. I clean this red color so you can understand. I over 2 times 2 and then times the square root 5. All right. Question number 8. So question number 8, we have the following. Complex number, square root negative 48. And it's going to be square root negative 75. Okay. Let's see how we're going to solve this. You cannot take negative by negative is equal positive. Put both of them under square root. You cannot do that. What you're going to do, you can break it down. Negative 1 square root 48. Also negative 1 square root negative 1 and square root 75. Okay? All right. So, therefore, what we're going to get? So negative square root negative 1 will be gone by the square root negative 1. And we get square root of 48 over 75. Let's see, square root 48, how we can break down so we can get some result. What do you think? We can go through all terms that you can break down. Of all factors that you multiply, you will get 48. So it's going to be, I would take 16 times 3. 48. Square root 16 times square root 3. Because I can take square root of 16, right? If I take square root 6 and square root 8, neither square root 6 has number result nor square root 8, right? So we are trying to find the number that square root will come out. So 16 and 3. 75 is going to be square root 25 and times square root 3. Correct? Okay. So square root 3 is gone. And square root of 16, it's going to be 4. Square root of 25, it's going to be 5. And the problem is solved. That's how we do the division. Now let's do addition subtraction. So 3 minus 5i minus 5 plus 5i minus negative 6 plus I. Okay, let's start solving. So what we are going to get? So first, let's open parentheses. We get 3 minus 5i. Since we have negative in front, 5 will become negative 5, and then plus 5i, this 5i will become negative, right? Minus 5i. Next, this negative 6 will become positive, and positive I will become negative I. So we get negative 6 will become positive 6, and positive I will become negative I. Okay, so let's combine like term. Negative 5i, negative 5i, negative I, positive 3, negative 5, positive 6. All right, so we get the following. Negative 5i, negative 5i, it's going to be negative 10i, right? This one. Negative 5i, negative 5i, negative 10i, and negative 1 going to be negative 11i. Okay, now let's take the other one. So 3 minus 5 is going to be negative 2. Negative 2 plus 6 is going to be positive 4. So negative 11i plus 4. Or the format usually writing, we just put vice versa. 4 minus 11i. Okay? All right. Next question, number 10. So we have negative I square root 5 minus 4 minus 7i square root 5 minus 3 plus minus I square root 5. Okay, so let's see how much we're gonna get. So negative I square root 5 minus 4. So we are opening parentheses here because you have negative sign, so everything is going to flip. Positive 4 become negative 4. Negative 7i square root 5 will become positive 7i square root 5. And then we have another here negative sign in front of parentheses, so it's going to be positive 3 will become negative 3. And negative I square root 5 will become positive I square root 5. So, like terms, this is I, here is I, here is I. These three are like terms. Now, in available terms, negative 4, negative 4, negative 3. And we have, let's do first the real number. Negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 8, negative 3 is negative 11. So next, now let's combine these i's. Negative I square root 5, positive 7i square root 5, and plus I square root 5. I can add them. Why? Because all three have square root 5. See? All three have square root 5, which means negative I plus 7i, it's going to be 6i, right? Because negative 1i plus 7i is going to be positive 6i. Positive 6i plus I, it's going to be positive 7i, which result will be plus 7i, and square root 5 is still coming here attached. Okay. Number 11. Let's do multiplication of complex numbers. So 4 minus 7. Let me move this because we're solving always on this side, right? So there we go. And I can squeeze a little bit this one. Oops. Very good. So, okay. So 4 minus 7i times 4 plus I. So what do we get? Let's solve it. So 4 times 4, it's going to be 16. 4 times I, it's going to be 4i. Next, negative 7i times 4, it's going to be negative 28i. And negative 7i times I, it's going to be negative 7i squared, because we have I and I squared. So remember the rule, I squared is equal negative 1. So which means this is equal negative 1. What do we get? So with combining like terms, positive 4i, negative 28i, we will get 16. Here, these like terms will be minus 24i. And since I squared is equal negative 1, with this negative also, we will get plus 7. Okay, let me go slow. We will get, okay, minus 7 times negative 1. Yes, and that is equal 16 minus 24i plus 7. All right, these two are like terms. It's going to be 16 plus 7, 23, minus 24i. Okay, that's how we are going to do. Just multiply every single term in one parenthesis by every single term in the another parenthesis. Next, question number 12. Negative 7 plus 7i times negative 2 plus 7i. Okay, let's solve it. Negative 7 times negative 2 is going to be positive 14. Negative 7 times 7i, it's going to be negative 49i. Next, 7i times negative 2, it's going to be negative 14i. 7i times 7i, it's going to be 49i squared. Okay. Result is, since this I squared is going to be equal negative 1, right? So we get what? And here we have like terms, I and I. We get 14, negative 49, negative 14. So 49 plus 14, it's going to be 9 plus 4, 13, 1 in mind. 4 plus 1 is 5 and 1 is 6. By the way, all these operations you can find in basic math playlist. So it's going to be negative 63i, okay, negative 63i, and plus 49 times negative 1, because I square is negative 1, which means 14 minus 63i and minus 49. Yes? Okay. 49 is going to be like negative 49. It's going to be like term with what? With 14, right? Okay. So 49, positive 14, negative 49. So which means we're going to subtract 49 minus 14. 9 minus 4 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 35. And we put sign of negative because 45 is a negative, bigger number. And this is equal. I'm sorry, this is not an equation, and minus 63. Minus 63i. That's it. We're done. Question number 13. Okay. What do we have? Square root a plus I and then square root a minus I. Okay, while you can go through a multiplication again all around. So one term on one side multiplied by all terms on the other side. But let me remind you, this is the formula. A plus b times a minus b, which is equal a squared minus b squared. Look, square root 8 plus I and square root 8 minus I. Okay, so which is going to be, let me write down here, this is going to be square root 8 squares, because here we have square, right? and minus I squared, b squared. So square root 8 squared is going to be 8 and minus I squared. So I squared is equal negative 1, correct? So 8 minus negative 1. Let me write down I squared again equal negative 1. So therefore we multiply this I squared times will be negative 1. And as a result we get 8 plus 1, which is going to be equal 9. Okay? Alright. Let's see. Moving to question number 14. And question number 14 is going to be b squared minus 12b plus 35 equals 0. This one, we are going to solve equation by the zero factor property, which means here we are going to break down into factors. Okay? How we are going to break into factors? So we're gonna, this b squared, one b comes here, the other b comes here, because between these parentheses multiplication. So if I take b times b, I will get back b squared, right? Next, I have to find two numbers that multiplication will give me 35 and addition is gonna give me negative 12. Okay, which two numbers are going to be? If product is positive, when do we get product positive? When both numbers are positive or both numbers are negative. And the sum is negative when both numbers are negative, right? Result will be negative. So from here we are going to guess it's going to be negative 7 and negative 5. Because negative 7 times negative 5, it's going to be positive 35. And negative 7, negative 5, it's going to be negative 12. Okay, so b minus 7, b minus 5, it's equal 0. Okay, since product is equal 0, that means either b minus 7 is equal 0 or b minus 5 is equal 0. When b minus 7 equals 0, that means b is equal 7. And when b minus 5 is equal 0, that means b is equal 5, right? So the solution is 7, 5. Okay, question number 15. We have 5x squared minus 12x minus 17 equals 0. Okay, let me write down here so we can solve it. This is going to be solved completely different way. So what do we have here? I'm going to break down and use it with the method of discriminant, where we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now, how can you know when to use what method? So with breaking down by terms, one thing we need to pay attention that we have coefficient 1. Our b squared. Here 5x squared has coefficient 5. Okay? So when coefficient is other than 1, when we are going this method. So, okay, and then using the formula, now you should remember this from the 1033, but I'm going to write down negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac, 4 times a times c over 2a. Let's see, if I compare this the equation to the given 5x squared, what do we have? A x squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where A is equal 5, B is equal, let me see, 5, B is equal negative 12, and C is equal negative 17. Okay? All right. Move it here, formula. Okay. Let's solve it then using this formula. So x1 and 2 is equal negative b, here it is, negative b. So where is my negative b here? Negative 12. So if b is negative 12, see we have b which is negative 12, and negative b will be positive 12. Plus minus b squared. Negative 12 squared is going to be 144 minus 4 times a is 5, right? Here we get a, it's 5. We do 4 times 5 and times c. C is going to be equal, here is our c, is negative 17. So let me write clean, 4 times 5 and then times negative 17. And divided by 2 times a. My a is 5, right? Okay, so let's solve it. X12 is equal 12 plus minus 144. So we have negative and times negative, so we get positive. 4 times 5 is 20. Yes, 4 times 5 is 20, and times 17. 20 times 17 is going to be 340. And divided by 10. Okay, so let me see what we are going to get. X12 is equal 12 plus minus 144 plus 340. It's going to be 484 over 10. And if we take square root of it, it's going to be 22. 12 plus minus 22 over 10. Okay, from here, x1 is equal 12 plus 22 divided by 10. x2 is equal 12 minus 22 divided by 10. All right, so x1 is equal 12 plus 22, it's going to be 34. 34 divided by 10. We reduce by 2. This is going to be 17. This is going to be 5. So we get 17 over 5. And x2 is going to be 12 minus 22. It's going to be negative 10. And over 10. 10 and 10 is gone, is negative 1. So the solution is 17 over 5 and comma negative 1. Question number 16. Okay. Number 16. Yeah, I don't have here much space. Okay, let me see if I can, the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. Again, I can move the whole these things down like that. Okay, we have it. We're good. And this one, move a little bit down further, I mean on the side. We're good. Okay, so this was number 15 problem. Yeah, we have here 5. Number 15. Number 16. Okay. So what do we have? Four c squared minus 17c equal 15. So here we want to find the solution by factoring. Okay? So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to solve exactly the same way we did the previous one. So where we are going to write down ax squared plus bx plus c equal 0, right? So here will be 4c squared minus 17c minus 15 equals 0. We move 15 on this side, and that's going to become negative. All right. So how are we going to solve? Ch.1.2 negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So my a, b, and c my a is how much? Coefficient of c squared, right? It's gonna be 4. B, it's gonna be negative 17 because it's a coefficient of x. Here will be coefficient of x. Let me write down a x squared plus bx plus c. See, it's available term here, but in the formula, but in this problem, 4c squared minus 17c minus 15, instead of x, we have c. Okay, so b is negative 17, and c is negative 15. Okay, so what we're gonna do from here? So we're going to solve the same way we solved previous problem. Ch.1.2 is equal. So we have in this formula negative b, which means negative 17 will become positive 17, plus minus b squared. So 17 squared, it's going to be 17 times 17, it's going to be 289. So minus 4 times, how much is our a is 4, and how much is our c is negative 15. And divided by 2 times a, how much is a? It is 4. Ch.1.2 is equal 17 plus minus, so let's see, what do we get? 289. So negative, we have, since we have here negative, and here we have negative, what do we get? 4 times 4 is 16, right? And 16 times 15, it's going to be 240. So we are going to do plus 240, right? Why we are getting plus? Because this, see here, these colors I shaded, it's a sign is minus here, minus is here. When you multiply, negative times negative, it's going to give you positive, yes? Okay. And we divide it by 8. So Ch.1.2 is equal 17 plus minus, so 289 plus 240, it's going to be 529 over 8. And how much it's going to be if we take square root? 23. 17 plus minus 23 over 8. So, and we get x1 is equal 17 plus 23 over 8, which is going to be 17 plus 23, it's going to be 40 over 8, it's going to be 5. And x2, it's going to be 17 minus 23 over 8. So 17 minus 23 is going to be negative 6 over 8. Reduced by 2 is 3. Reduced by 2 is 4. So we get negative 3/4. Okay, negative 3/4. So from here, so since while our answer is going to be, okay, it's going to be 5 and negative 3/4. That will be the solution. But also the factoring, it's gonna be, we are going to use the factoring by x minus x1, x minus x2. So our x1 is 5, x2 is negative 3/4. So we are going to get x minus, let me take this in the frame because this is solution, and we are getting another solution, not solution but the factor in case they wanted us to break, x minus 5, and here we get x minus negative 3/4. Yes, x minus negative 3/4, and here is going to be coefficient of a. I forgot to add it, so we have to have a times x minus x1, x minus x2, and this is going to be x minus, let me see, 3/4. So our a is 4. So what do we get? I am rewriting this way. 4 times x plus 3/4, because we have here two negatives, right? Will become positive, and x minus 5. So why did I switch the parentheses, put this one first? Because I want to distribute this 4 on this parenthesis and to get rid of fraction, and I will get 4x plus 3 and x minus 5. So this is answer is going to be factoring the standard form of equation. Actually, this solution, this is the second question at the second answer. This is first answer. Okay, moving to question number 17. Question number 17. We have x squared minus 81 equals 0. So this is reminding me the formula a squared minus b squared, which is equal a minus b and a plus b. Let's do it. So if my, write down a squared minus b squared. If my a squared is x squared, then my a is going to be 1x and b is going to be 9 because 9 squared is 81, right? And here we have b squared, with here we have b. So it's going to be x plus minus 9 or plus 9, doesn't matter, and x plus 9 is equal 0. So from here, either x minus 9 is equal 0, since we have here parentheses, right? Multiplication. So to get product 0, either x minus 9 is 0 or x plus 9 is equal 0. So from here, x is equal positive 9. From here, x is equal negative 9. And this is going to be your solution, 9 and negative 9. Okay. 2 more questions and I will be done. Question number 18. What do I have here? Z plus 5 squared is equal negative 36. Okay, let's see how we're gonna solve this one. So the solution is going to be, first of all, let's take, since here is we have squared, z plus 5 squared, and it's equal negative 36. So we are going to take square root from both of them. Okay, let me rewrite it over. So z plus 5 squared equal negative 36. So if I take square root from both of them, what we're gonna get? So it's gonna be z plus 5, right? And on this side, it's going to be plus minus negative square root of negative 36. From here, we get z plus 5 equal plus minus, from this negative will come out I, correct? It's going to come out I. And from 36, it's going to come out 6, right? Square root 36 is 6, so we put 6i. All right? So to solve it, we get z plus 5 is equal positive 6i, and z plus 5 is equal negative 6i. Right? So from here, actually, well, I don't have even to separate. I can make it easier. Hold on, let me make it easier for you. So from here, what I'm going to do, I need to find z, right? Find the z score. I mean, a z variable. So move this 5 on this side, which is going to be negative, and the result is going to be z is equal negative 5, because once you move on the other side of equal sign, positive become negative, and then plus minus 6i. And that's it. We are done. Okay? All right. Next one. All right. Next one is going to be the following, the last one. Similar one. It is 2x minus 3 squared equal 39. So we take 2x minus 3 squared equal 39. Same way we are going to, because we have squared, we take square root. We take square root and we get result 2x minus 3 is equal plus minus square root 39. Well, there is no the number coming out 39, and because we can't break down on anything, 39, it's only going to be 13 times 3. Neither the 13, you can take square root, not 3, right? So it's going to stay as a square root plus minus square root 39. So to find x, we're going to get 2x is equal positive 3. I'm putting positive 3, right? Because it's negative 3. Once I move on this side, will be positive 3 plus minus square root 39. And to get 2, the x by itself, I am dividing the whole this thing by 2. This is gone. And that's it. That's your x. X is equal 3 plus minus square root 39 over 2. All right. And that is your solution. Okie dokie. Thanks for watching. See you at the next video for next homework.